All right, I will welcome everybody to the Public Utilities Commission meeting for Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. The first item on our agenda is our consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now under reports, our first item is our Employee of the Month recognition.
Yes, Commissioners, the Employee of the Month for August is Taylor Ruckert. Taylor started with the IT department in 2025, and he has been a great asset, willing to come in early or stay late whenever the city or utility needs him. He has taken on numerous projects already. These include updating servers to the latest operating system, setting up new domain controller, numerous switches for various locations, and configuration changes to improve the overall cybersecurity of our environment. Taylor pushes the department to continue to look at ways to improve efficiency, ease of use, and security. He's also worked closely with the FR Secure and the 2-year cybersecurity program initiatives. So I want to congratulate Taylor Ruckert for Employee of the Month.
I'll make a motion to recognize Taylor Ruckert as Employee of the Month for August 2025.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Taylor, for your efforts. Section 2.2, Solar on Public Buildings Grant. Derek.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if you've ever heard of solar on public buildings. It initially was a grant available for customers in Xcel Energy's territory only. Recently, the state has allowed that to expand into other territories in the state of Minnesota. So there's roughly about $14.5 to $15 million in grant funding available to public buildings in Minnesota to install solar arrays up to 40 kW, along with the federal elective pay up to 100% of the cost of the system can be covered if awarded this grant. So the utility, with guidance from the Clean Energy Resource Teams and the Minnesota Department of Administration, we've submitted an RFP to vendors. 3 locations owned by the utility have been viewed as potential locations to install solar. The first one is the Electrical Distribution Department. The second is the Natural Gas Department shed and the Water Filtration Plant. To submit the RFP, Minnesota Department of Administration allowed us to utilize their bidding process. By using their process, we were able to submit this RFP to previously vetted solar vendors that they have vetted out in their system and have used in past years. So they vet out these solar companies, and we're able to utilize their bidding process. The utility or community using or wishing to install solar on a building needs a separate application per building. So we'll be submitting 3 applications if we move forward. Once the final selection of vendor occurs, we'll bring an agenda item back to you for approval to proceed. One reason why we didn't do this prior is because as I kind of put in the alternatives to consider, the application process actually opened up on the 31st. And due to different things on the federal and state level, we need to have not necessarily this completed by the end of the year, but we need to have proof of construction in order to, 1, receive the grant, 2, to get the direct payment. So it kind of was a very speedy process to go out and get the RFP. So once we get the RFPs back and decide on some vendors, we'll bring back further information on how to proceed going forward. There's lots of lots of information on this, but to summarize, that's the Solar on Public Buildings grant that we are going for.
The final selection for us on the 13th of October?
So
Is that for the actual grant?
where it says NUPU RFP, that's the deadlines we have within the RFP. So we issued it on the 11th of September. We had site visits last Friday. There's a questions deadline, and this is all within the Minnesota Department of Administration's guidelines in their RFP process. They have a very specific and strict kind of guidelines. So the questions deadline will be the 24th, and then we need to have responses to those questions by the 30th. The deadline for those vendors submitting is the 7th of October by 3 p.m. And then by the 13th, we need to have those vendors selected. So hopefully by then, and, getting those RFPs back from the vendors, contacting them, we can get a better grasp of when that construction, and when I mean construction, it could just be proof that we have payment for the panels before the beginning, or the, beginning of next year. If that's the case, then we can get that grant money and then still be eligible to get that direct payment. If you're not familiar with the direct payment, we weren't able to utilize federal tax credits in the past. So a few years ago, municipalities were able to get direct payment instead of that tax credit.
So we would know before we approve anything if we win the grant and
Right.
have that funding
Right, yeah.
cover,
Well,
or what percentage of the project
Right.
it would cover.
right, yep.
Well, I think the idea would be, final selection would be on the 13th of October. The October meeting, we would bring something forth.
Correct.
To let you know what we have chosen, what the cost is going to be, what buildings would be. At that point, you can approve us to go further, and the application would be put in to see if we can potentially get funding. I would imagine we would find out funding sometime,
When the application is submitted, I don't want to use the word guaranteed, but within 2 weeks, they'd have a response back to any applicant.
Okay, so by the end
So
of
it's-
November, we would.
They
likely
know,
By the end of
they're the ones that
November,
are, put this grant out, and they know the federal deadlines when certain things will have a sunset,
Yep.
and they want to use these funds, so they're moving quickly with it.
Yeah, because
as
there's not
well.
necessarily an award date in here, but it's more of,
Right,
because basically we've got the deadline for application and then the construction.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick.
it's very
Yeah.
quick. And I met with, one vendor was like, this is a next year project. But, he made sure to say, I think there was a bill passed, reconciliation bill, to show that that's what kind of set forth is if you can have proof that something is under construction, right? You're guaranteed to get that grant and that money.
Yeah.
I
So-
believe also, though, is there an opportunity to do it, if everything doesn't fall in line, there is an opportunity to do it next year, or is that for the 30%?
Well, it's kind of for both.
Okay,
But
so
that's,
if we hit the December 31st deadline, January 1, there's rules that are going into place that basically put some restrictions on the type of equipment, type of panels, type of
right, and it gets
inverters.
more into the weeds of.
Yeah, so then it's a little bit more difficult to make sure that, or it's going to be maybe even more costly to make sure that we get equipment that falls under those restrictions.
Right, so it will be important just from the get-go, so in case something does happen, we don't have to deal with that next
Yeah.
year.
So we're
I
trying
talked
to
to
push
one-
this through.
Well,
Yeah.
because things would need to be, American-made. There's
Yeah, it
different
makes sense.
criteria after the beginning of next year, what's eligible for different opportunities,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to receive and order filed the report on the solar on public buildings grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, go
I
ahead.
got one question.
Yep.
And I can't get it up here. On number 3, it says the ownership of the system.
Is that, I didn't print everything out, so under number 3, what is,
Number 3 is scope.
Yeah, it says ownership of the system such that the site owners have the option to buy the system at a future date without providing developmental capital. Is that what you're
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
about?
I don't think that would pertain to us.
I think that has to do with if there's a financing
Yeah,
option. I remember in the application, there was an option that we could have checked if we wanted financing.
Right.
And we don't want any, we
right,
aren't
correct,
requiring
yes.
financing. We're
So
gonna
if
finance
we
that
went through
ourselves.
financing, I mean, anyway, you could probably get some financing through some of the vendors. Right,
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
sometimes they'll put it up for you, and then, you know, you can buy it over the long term or after a certain period of
Didn't
time.
make sense that
Oh, I
you
do have the
wouldn't
RFP.
own it.
On it, exactly, yeah.
Sounds good. All right, is there any other further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now into local climate action grant. Is that
yes,
you as
so
well,
the,
Derek?
yep.
Okay.
So the city of New Ulm, along with New Ulm Public Utilities, applied for a local climate action grant through the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. We applied for that grant, and we signed an agreement with MPCA on July 8th of this year. The city of New Ulm has a community census tract identified in the environmental justice screen tool, a total of 665 dwellings. The utility, Minnesota Valley Action Council, Clean Energy Resource Teams and Region 9 Development Commission plan to work collectively to implement an energy improvement projects within this area of New Ulm that's considered in that environmental justice community. The intent for this project is to provide widespread energy improvements across identified environmental justice community, aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by at least 20%. Energy audits offer guidance for efficiency and cost-reducing improvements directly tied to broader environmental goals and sustainable practices, ultimately fostering a sense of environmental stewardship within the community. The city is to establish a foundation of both energy literacy and the means to improvement, eventually building into a citywide energy action initiative. The grant that we applied for and received was in the total amount of $49,940. And one reason why the utility is here bringing this to the commission is that we used some of our ECO, or what was the Conservation Improvement Program funds, in a total of $2,525, which to receive this grant, like many grants, you need to have some sort of a matching fund. And that $2,500 and some dollars was part of that matching fund that we use from our less represented or low income program to put towards to get that grant. So between all these entities, we're working together to first, we're looking at advertisement currently now. Members from the Clean Energy Resource Team, CERTS, is compiling advertisement that they'll bring to me, and I have a mailing list from that portion of the community, which I've actually attached. It's kind of a purple background, green part of the community. So this area will get direct mailings to regarding this grant. And as mentioned in that portion of the agenda, we're focusing mostly on energy audits in this community. And then from there, since working with Minnesota Valley Action Council, they perform audits, but they also go back and have crews that work inside those homes to implement things found, insulation, corrections of within the home for energy saving measures. So you don't see real street names, but I guess what would be the west side of New Ulm, right? I guess it's almost south, but that long line is Broadway. So everything on this side of Broadway, going down to the river and going all the way to the Cottonwood River to close to First North is that whole green area. So we'll be directly focusing on that area of New Ulm. Once the mailings go out, we'll probably do, the boots on the ground and focus on neighborhoods to get people to sign up. Not everyone within this area probably will be eligible. Minnesota Valley Action Council, they focus on low income households. So individuals that receive these mailings and are interested will probably have to contact Minnesota Valley Action Council and kind of go through their process to, move forward. So, yeah.
That's not bad, 0.5% match to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's kind of a unique opportunity where the city, the PUC, and then the local climate, or, the other agencies, Minnesota Valley Action Council, and that can all
Yeah, and
work
we got
together.
lucky. We got lucky. The Minnesota Valley Action Council was willing to kind of partner because they'll be doing a lot of work. They'll be getting a lot of calls and doing the audits and whatnot. So, they'll be getting, roundabout way paid for that through the grant, and then we get their invoice and we get reimbursed from the PCA. So
Have we ever done a program like this before?
I haven't personally. We just have our regular. We do work. I mean, we are able to contact Minnesota Valley Action Council because we have a relationship with them through one of our SIP, our conservation improvement programs, but not something at this scale. No.
I was just curious if we knew like a participation rate to
Not-
expect if people. take
Right, and we'll
advantage of
have
it. I
to-
would hope so.
Yeah, and with the grant, it will be more in depth because we'll have to. I'll probably have to collect those individuals' bills and
Right.
kind of look to see if there has been any reduction. Because with the money we get, they want some data, which is part of the deal.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, I'll take a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to accept the local climate action grant agreement between the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency and the city of New Ulm in the amount of $49,940, including a monetary match from New Ulm Public Utilities in the amount of $2,250, totaling $52,460.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now up to the Utilities Director replacement process.
Commission President, Commissioners. As you know, Director Manderfeld will be retiring at the end of the year. And so we would like to start the recruitment process by hiring an outside consultant to help us with that recruitment. We would like to use MGT as they are a leader in executive recruitment. Roughly 1,500 completed engagements in 45 states. One big thing is they do work with municipalities, specifically in utilities. So that's a plus. They're kind of a little more specialized, and they'll pretty much be doing everything, from the recruitment, which is position assessment, stakeholder input, advertising, candidate screening, background checks, and facilitation of the interview process. This recruitment is expected to take about 14 weeks from when it's initiated to candidate appointment. There are kind of three options presented to you. The first would be to approve the proposed agreement with MGT, which would be $22,000, and that includes a 12-month guarantee. So if the candidate doesn't last more than a year, they would go back and recruit for free. There is an additional cost to do the advertising and background screening of $4,000. That would bring their total cost to $26,000. You could direct us to do this internally or look at one of MGT's alternative approaches, which is a limited scope, which is $22,000. You save roughly $4,000, but they don't do a brochure, they don't do the background check, and there is no guarantee. And they don't do the interview questions, or virtual recruitment, which is $12,000, which is just a very condensed process. And then there also is no guarantee attached with that as well. Shauna, unfortunately, couldn't be here, but she and I both recommend going with the full proposal at $26,000. Because last time we went out to recruit, that director lasted 6 months, and we had to go back out. So, again, I have faith that MGT will get us a good group of candidates, but just in case, we have that guarantee to go back out free of charge.
Have we used them for anything?
No, this would be the first time that we would be using them, but when Shauna did do some background checks on them, they were highly recommended from other municipalities.
Yeah, I don't see any issue. bringing this in-house, I don't think is an option. I mean, it's a professional executive position, which is extremely difficult to do, and they've got a lot of reach, so seems to make sense to me. Otherwise, if there's no other discussion, I'll take a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to sign any applicable documents and to move forward with MGT Impact Solution LLC to conduct the search for a utilities director.
And
I'll
then,
second that.
and could we just amend that to add the amount for 26,000, just so it's clear
Sure.
which option we're going with?
Yeah, for the amount of 26,000.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Next up is geotechnical, right? Yep.
Wastewater.
Oh, wastewater, sorry. Wastewater study. Skipped one.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We are asking you to consider a water and wastewater study proposal. We are looking to do a cost of service and rate study on both water and wastewater this fall. So the last time we completed a cost of service and study for water and wastewater was in 2021. And we sent out proposals to 4 companies for preparation of this study. All 4 companies responded with a proposal, and the total cost for the proposals range from $15,000 to $66,333. We have reviewed the proposals, and staff has ranked them individually based on experience, qualifications, cost, proposed completion timeline, and overall quality. And staff does recommend accepting the proposal from Dave Berg Consulting. In reviewing the proposals, the proposal from Dave Berg Consulting LLC was deemed to have the most value to the PUC, along with being the low bid. Both water and wastewater department each had $25,000 allocated in their budget for 2025 to complete a study like this year.
Just some additional information. The timing on this is really good. We just completed the capital improvement assessment for both wastewater and for water. So it's a good time to start looking at rates to prepare for some of those capital improvements that are going to be needed in the future. Also, to let you know, Dave Berg Consulting has done cost of service studies for us prior. So we are confident in his ability to do the job and do it well. He has done last 2 maybe for electric and steam. So now he'll be doing it for water and wastewater if you approve.
What is the typical frequency that we get these reviewed by a professional?
Typically, we try to do it every 5 to 6 years unless something major happens, but
Because we're inside that, so I'm assuming, but it is good timing with the capital plan that we've looked at as well.
yes.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the proposal from Dave Berg Consulting LLC for a cost of service and rate study for the water and wastewater utilities in the amount of $15,000 total for both studies.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed. Now on to the geotechnical evaluation.
Yes, Commissioners, this is an item that's needed for the design of the 20th Street South force main and water main crossing. They need to go across the Canadian Pacific Rail Line at 20th South Street and then also at Tower Road. This is part of, or it's required, we have hired Bolton and Mink to do the design for this force main. So this is something that they do not do, that needs to be done so that they can put that into their design. The point of this is to get this project ready for potential federal funding, if that does happen in 2026.
And we said if it wasn't going to get federal funding, we were probably going to have to move forward regardless,
well,
potentially?
Eventually.
Eventually?
Eventually, we'll have to.
Potentially?
The force main that is in the ground right now is over 50 years old, and so at some point, we want to be proactive and make sure that we get this project done, but I think we have a little bit of time to try to get some funding if we can.
That makes sense.
Good.
I'll make the motion to receive and order filed the proposal to complete a geotechnical evaluation by Braun Intertech in the amount of $25,578 for geotechnical evaluation for the 20th Street South Force Main and Water Main Crossing.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now a transformer replacement. Dan.
Yeah, this is, we went out to bid and developed the specs. You approved that in May 27th PUC meeting. The transformer is about 60 years old. It's at the end of its life. It's actually been a repurposed transformer that had fins and oil coolers and a bunch of things added to it to make it be able to handle number 7 turbine going through it. Nobody's really willing to sign what the rating actually is of the transformer, the way it's running. So we're kind of taking this opportunity to clean this up since it's becoming a very important part of our capacity agreements and contracts with MISO, so that number 7 is active and can serve in the market. And this transformer, if we get it in order today, believe it or not, the lead time of only 40 to 45 weeks is actually a good lead time compared to what we've been seeing in the last few years. So,
And that would lock in the price?
yeah, everything's locked in. We're just waiting for them to build it and deliver it. There will be another contract for the installation and commissioning, which we will start developing that now and get that all done in that lead time. So we're ready to go when the transformer arrives.
And that's all within budget, correct?
Yeah, and actually,
More than enough?
I think we will be coming in under budget from what we have here on this form.
This is also another one of the items that we can check off of our 20-year capital improvement plan, so.
Yeah, 60 years on anything is a long time.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the bid from Virginia Transformer for the replacement of the Center Street Substation transformer in the amount of $1,425,408.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now there's 69 kV breaker upgrades.
Yeah, this is to do the engineering on what would be our last 69 oil-filled breaker to get replaced. We're actually working to install the other 4 that we've ordered over the past few years through the commission here. This one, though, we have submitted to the Department of Commerce and received a grant for part of it. So it's timely, and we were part of the rules of the grant. We couldn't start work on it until everything was filled out and done. So now we're gonna hurry and do our engineering, try to get the breaker in time to meet all the requirements of this project. So the first thing is getting the engineering done. They will probably in fairly short order, we will have an order for another breaker to get it coming. And hopefully we can get this done next year is the goal. But that will be subject to the lead time on the breaker that we will be ordering. But we have some on the shelf, so we will be able to make this work.
Good. Yeah, it's another old breaker too, from the 60s.
Yeah, after this will be the end of our oil-filled breakers. So for your SPC plan, environmental, all that, it's all good to make
It's
this
good. Get that
go
out of
away.
there.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the proposal from Power System Engineering, Inc., PSE, to develop plans and specs, acquire, and oversee the replacement of the 69 kV breaker at the Center Street substation in the amount of $50,000.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now on to our report of claims.
I'll make a motion to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $3,525,123.06.
Second.
All right, motion and a second on that. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last item, is there any comments from our commissioners?
I do have a comment. I would like to introduce you to our new Water District Energy Supervisor. He has about a week and a half under his belt. Paul Tescher. Teicher, and so we welcome to the utility. He has jumped in running this last week. So, Paul, is there anything you want to share with the commissioners?
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, staff. Looking forward to growing here. It's going to be an exciting time. So we're very much in the discovery phase right now and learning. So I'm out here right now on the water level. So, but I'm available for questions if anybody has any for me. So, thank you.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we will adjourn. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.